One.
We are live, guys. It's uh been a week since we've last been here. Um oh yeah, God, it's been a day. Um so I guess just because of where we ended last and not I don't have any announcements before the stream here. I think we're going to go ahead and just jump right back into it with a recap. So,
Well,
last time where we left our, we'll call them adventurers, they rode from the city of Dagbor, or no, they walked from the city of Dagbor. That is my mistake. In the direction of the city of Bahrain. It's only like a 2-day walk, so they decided to walk because they could not afford horses. And they managed to travel the distance mostly without too much difficulty as they began to enter the evening. They were accosted by a griffin looking for food. In a very quick round of events, the griffin was mostly charred from a lightning witch bolt that and the party continued the next day without any mind. After their first mistake from the night before of not having a night watch, they set up a night watch in which somebody fell asleep. Due to that, Cardin basically got insta knocked out due to the griffin's mate having found them and smelling the griffin's mate on Cardin and Cardin alone. The griffin began carrying Cardin's unconscious body away, where the party barely managed to revive him before the griffin attempted to splatter him on the rocks. They then had an in-air battle where half the party became useless at a certain point in time due to range.
Yeah.
And just barely surviving the impact of the griffin and his own body into the ground after being dropped essentially from about 250 feet in the air. Arden managed to walk away, but just barely. In which the party promptly crashed back asleep to finish their long rest.
After setting up another
watch, correct. Yeah. So with that is where we pick back up tonight. You guys have had your long rest, so all spells and hit points have been restored.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you guys are beginning to be woken by the morning sun here on this island. You guys are just outside of the city of Bahrain. When I say just outside, you're like a couple hours walk, essentially.
It's the city.
The city of Bahrain. Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Yes, I know it is.
I don't know.
It is spelled differently.
I believe there's looking at this map, I think there's a smudge here. It's kind of hard to tell.
Looks like it says Bahrain.
Yeah, it's pronounced Bahrain.
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 Smart people must live here. So Kate is gonna awaken and do some quick stretches before pulling out some rations to eat for the day.
Yeah, rations sound like a good idea.
Yeah. Also, Cardin feels extremely sore.
Yes, Carden. As
So-
you
Yeah, probably.
as you begin to get up,
I bet.
you can feel it in your back. That action roll after impacting the ground, probably not the greatest idea, but you did it anyway, and damn it, did you look cool. You're paying for it today, however.
Point.
We should
You
probably
guys.
go into town.
Probably like get going.
Okay. If
We're on the
there-
clock.
Wait. Are you gonna wait for me to eat, or are you just gonna leave me behind?
I guess we have time to eat.
Yeah.
Alright.
Eat now before we enter the city. It'll save us a little bit of money.
Yeah, fair. Except for when we probably have to. I guess I might be the only one that has to buy more rations.
I mean,
Well,
if
like
you're out of
2 or
rations
3
now,
weeks away.
I can share.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll be good for a few days. I
Oh.
have like three sets left.
Oh, okay. Well, when you're starving in a few days, let me know.
Okay.
You guys have a morning ration and drink, some drinks from your water skin. You guys begin on the travel towards the city of Bahrain. It's not quite in sight yet, so I will need somebody to make another survival check.
Uh-oh.
So we had Cardin make one, we had
I made one, I think.
Valinar make one, so I would like either Dinok or Katia to make one this week. And if somebody would like to aid them,
You don't want me to make one. You don't want me to make one.
I guess I could do it if Dinok's willing to assist me.
Okay.
okay. So that is a survival check with advantage.
Sweet. Let's see what we roll.
Roll it.
With advantage, that is a 19.
Very nice. So you guys continue in the correct direction and do not get turned around. After
good.
several hours of walking, eventually you guys begin to see what you assume is the city of Bahrain. And when I say you assume it, it's because this city looks nothing like the city of Dagbor. As you begin to approach, what you see is practically farmland. You see no signs of walls except for a simple wooden fence surrounding most of what seems to be a few dozen buildings around of this, what is essentially this city. You can hear and you can almost smell a nearby river as you guys begin to kind of pass through this like thin forest, if you would. It's like you enter a forest and probably 10 minutes after entering it, you are leaving it, entering a clearing where you are able to see this city. The city has a lot of open space, and beyond the river you see essentially a deforest area where they have plowed and has plants of different types, whether it be from this distance you can see the corn and the wheat specifically, because it was kind of tall. From here, that's what you can see. As you begin to approach the fence, the buildings are much more spaced out than they were in the city of Dagbor. Each building being fairly large, but most of them being made of simple materials such as wood and straw, or mostly wood. Some of the very nice buildings have a wooden roof but some of the lower end ones simply have a roof of straw. You see people kind of moving about their own business. There are a few that kind of eye and point at you, and Valinar, you would notice as one of them kind of like points at you and kind of like juts at one another guy beside him. That guy kind of turns and begins leaving from what he was doing. Not really doing anything, just kind of standing by a building.
Just gonna make sure my lenses are on and maybe put up a hood.
Okay. Is there anything specific you guys are looking for in the city? As you guys are not stopped at the gate, you guys are able to enter freely.
Well, there's guards at the gate?
Nope, not that you see.
No.
Real quick, what races are around us?
Immediately around you, you see dwarves, some half-orcs, humans. Those are the primary ones that you see. You would also catch a few elves, but not very many elves. In addition to that, half elves as well, just due to the nature of.
Yeah.
I guess I should just say due to the nature of men.
I want to go to the nearest person that I can see.
Well, the nearest person would be a half-orc individual currently tending to a what looks to be like a small field. You would probably classify it as a garden from your Richie background.
Okay. A gardening half-orc. Interesting. Okay, so I approach this half-orc fellow, and I introduce myself, and I say, "Hello, sir. My name is Katya, and me and my compatriots are a little lost, I believe. We're looking for the city of Bahrain."
The half-orc.
Can you point us in the correct direction?
The half-orc is like tilling with what is essentially the hoe garden, and as he like slams it into the ground, you can hear like this kind of a wet thud sound as he's working. And he is not a little person, obviously. When he pulls the hoe back and stands up straight, he probably stands at about 6'5", and he clearly works a lot. He is built.
Yeah.
He is fairly muscular, not necessarily super heavy set, but definitely eats pretty well. You would not want to arm wrestle this guy. Let's put it that way.
I could take him.
He kind of turns and looks to you and goes, "I reckon you found it."
Oh, well, I was told it was a city, and from my experience, most cities have a lot bigger buildings, a lot more. I don't know. This just doesn't fit the description that I was expecting.
Don't let it fool you, young one. And he kind of like takes his dirty hand and kind of like pats your blonde hair a little bit. And you can feel the dirt kind of rolling through your hair a little bit. It kind of sends a shiver down your spine a little bit.
Yeah, Katya is gonna immediately try to brush that out.
He like sees that and just don't let it fool you, kid. Everyone here is probably retired, and keeps throwing the hoe back into the dirt over and over and over again. Obviously trying to keep turning the ground.
So this is the city of Bahrain. I think this is more like a village than a city, but that's beside the point.
We're looking for cities are based off of the amount of individuals or militaristic power that
It's
usually,
a city.
Okay, fair enough.
It's usually based off of that number. while we may not look impressive, and he kind of gestures to the rest of the city, we have earned our keep.
Fair
And
enough.
just a forewarning, you do well to remember that. He kind of continues to slam the hoe into the ground.
Well, I'm not devalidating the work that you do here. I just not quite what I was anticipating for a city. Regardless,
Enoch speaks up here real quick. You might want to start. You might want to stop digging that hole there. Yeah.
regardless, he continues. We are looking for your mayor or your, I don't know, who's in charge around here.
It's he's a kind of like turns over his shoulder. He's not back there. You're looking for a hunter by the name of Palig, true chaser. He's look for somebody who stands heads above the rest of us. You can't miss.
So really tall. Gotcha.
Hmm.
And what is his official title?
Essentially, he's the huntsman of the town.
The huntsman. Gotcha. So we will address him as the huntsman of Bahrain.
If you wish, he says as he hasn't really done much. Like he still hasn't stopped, essentially tilling his garden.
All right. Well, that should be enough information for me. I will leave you to your tilling and stop bothering you now. You have a good day, sir.
Kind of
So-
just nods and lets you go about your way.
So, side note: during that entire conversation, Valinar is just watching everything he can.
Okay. You see a lot of people doing a lot of manual labor. Whether that be working a garden, working a field of some kind, even the women and children are gathering water from the river.
Okay.
Sorry. You do see if, from your perspective, you would probably see two different streams of smoke, one being more of a white and one being of a blackish color, just kind of drifting over the city. Nobody seems concerned. Like I said, the buildings aren't terribly large, so you do not see like a fire per se.
Okay.
Otherwise, a lot of people are doing, like I said, are doing manual labor. Like I said, you see people farming essentially, whether that be a field or a garden. You can also see people patching buildings, both like interior, exterior as well. And then you do see every now and then, like you see some people kind of look over at you because people clearly do not recognize you. You get the sense that people in this town know probably everybody.
Okay.
So does this sound a little bit more like a size that I would be recognizable with?
It would still be bigger than anything you are familiar with.
Okay.
Like the towns that you would have been
That was
familiar
like-
with would have been like 2 shacks and like a hut. These have
So it's a garden.
full-fledged
Yeah.
buildings.
Sakard and just about anything's a city.
So I'm just I'm not quite as impressed as with the last one, but I'm still like, what? There's more people here and they're not dead.
Mhm.
Not unless everyone decides to go to war at some point, Carden.
That's always a possibility.
You guys are able to explore the city as you see fit. Yeah, but you were told to find Palig, which is the guy who will be much taller than anybody else.
Palade. Palade?
Palig. Palig.
Peleg.
Palig.
Pollock.
Yes.
I'm over here trying to figure out how to spell it.
Palig True Chaser.
He literally just spelled it.
Yeah, I know. I got it now. I couldn't understand what he was saying before, but now he spelled it.
Yeah, sorry, Palig. It's
Palig True Chaser, the huntsman.
Hmm?
Okay. So, I'm told that he's taller than everybody else. So he should be pretty easy to spot in a crowd if he's in the city. So I'm going to keep an eye out while we're traveling around.
okay. Go ahead and make
Guys,
a
figure out
perception
smoke
check.
means anything? I was just gonna kind of make motions towards that smoke he saw.
Okay.
What about the smoke?
Think that means anything? Think he could be at one of those?
Possible. But why go all the way out there when we haven't checked around here first?
Let's go out there.
He could be either. I mean, Huntsman is his title.
Yeah.
You know-
Enoch is
important
gonna
position.
follow Valnar.
Hmm?
Yeah. Carter's
Enoch's
going to
gonna-
follow Valnard.
Oh, I was just asking. I wasn't actually going that way. I
Oh,
was seeing what everyone else thought.
I mean, if we determine he's not here in the town, that's a good place to look.
Okay.
Oh, the smoke is still coming from within the town. It's kind of drifting over the top of the buildings that you guys are able to see.
If it's still in town, I'm gonna follow the smoke.
Okay.
Enoch's gonna follow him.
Okay. So as you guys begin to head towards the first one, what color of smoke do you head towards first, Valinar? And while they're doing this, Katya, go ahead and make a perception check for me, since you are keeping an eye out for Palig.
Perception.
I'd probably head towards the white first.
That's a 17.
Okay,
Good
towards
thing
the white.
it wasn't without.
Yeah, then that one would have been bad.
Mhm.
You would- No falling asleep for you.
You would have been looking down your nose.
Hmm.
So
If I could see my nose.
as you follow the trail of the white smoke itself to almost the exact center of town, and what you see there currently is a large pile of ash that seems to have set up for what seems to be like a hog roast. Essentially, they still got the what are those things called?
A spit?
Yeah, the spit set up for whatever they cooked over a fire previously. But it seems that the fire itself is still smoldering a little bit, and that's what's causing the smoke here. You do see people kind of walking by, and occasionally you see some individuals, half-orc and dwarvish individuals, come up and just dropping wood kind of off to the side of where this spit was prior.
Okay.
How old the fire is?
Make a survival check. I'll say 13. It's not like, your best guess would probably have been like last night. That'd probably be your best guess, was last night. Also with a
Somebody here last night.
huh?
Well, there's someone here last night. I say that to the party.
Oh, okay, well, that's not overly helpful right now.
Okay.
You think they were cooking Griffin?
No, I think that was just Carden.
No, that was just me.
With your 17 perception check, Katya, you do not see anybody that is taller than the half-orc that you talked with. See a lot of others that are very close in height, but nobody obviously taller than.
As we're walking, Deanoch turns to Kati and says,
What do you think the chances are that guy was the one we are looking for?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of. Perhaps he's not. I mean, there's a good chance. He just sent us on a wild goose chase. Whatever goose is.
I don't know. I get the feeling they might not like outsiders.
No duh.
I mean, you were allowed into the city.
I mean, that's a plus. We didn't have to spend, what was it, 5 gold to get in?
And that was at a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible, but you never know.
Put it in perspective. Just think about it this way: how would you feel if you had, like, if you were charged every time you drove to a city, you were just charged $10, essentially.
So it's called
Whole way
driving
to
to Houston.
Chicago.
Yeah.
It's called driving to Houston.
That's gas for you guys, though. That's why you need.
I don't know. And tolls. And tolls.
Yeah, that's the
Most
toll
of
way.
the roads into Chicago are toll roads.
That's fair,
Yeah.
but still, it would be kind of ridiculous if you like for example, if you lived in a really, really small town or outside of a really small town. My parents, they don't live in town, so they would have to drive to go to town. So every time they go to the grocery store, they would be charged $10 on top of whatever they spend at the grocery store. And every time.
I hope you don't forget anything.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm saying it'd be really annoying. When you're impoverished, you can't really afford that. So that was the whole point of that toll.
Interesting.
Anyway, you guys are currently standing around a spit discussing the possibility that the half orc at the front of the city was actually the individual that you needed to talk with.
I mean, he was taller than everybody I've seen so far, and it's hard to imagine anybody taller than him.
Well, if we're not seeing anyone that seems like they match that description, I'm just gonna start walking towards the other smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Let's check it out.
Okay. You guys follow it to the other location, and you actually find a blacksmith here.
Hey.
You kind of look inside, and it's actually a family of dwarves currently working.
Stereotypes.
You never visited. I mean, this is the first forge you have
That was
visited.
That was out of character.
This is the first forge you have visited as Katya, so
Okay.
at least here on this
Mhm.
plane, I guess we'll call. But so they're doing work currently. Looking inside, you see about 3 or 4 dwarves running around, working different anvils and different stations, essentially within this small building. And the black smoke is the constant burning of coals and melting of different ores as they are fixing what seems to be different sets of armor, weapons, farm tools. Eventually one of them kind of eventually one of them kind of sees you guys standing there, and he kind of turns and goes, "Oh, oi, can I help you?" And he kind of steps over, and he's covered in soot. Like, he is. You think there's red hair, but you can't really tell from the amount of just blackened soot that covers him from head to toe. Kind of like pulls these thick black like goggles off of his head, and you can see like these like reverse raccoon eyes, essentially. from his head as he kind of pulls them off and sets them on the counter and just kind of looks up at you guys. Hi, can I help you?
Well, I can see you most definitely take your work seriously here.
Aye, we have nothing better to do.
You're telling me. We're looking for someone named Palig True Chaser. Do you know
Peleg,
this man?
he kind of like leans out and looks like up towards the sky. He should be out on his morning hunt. He should return shortly.
Okay. Can you describe what this individual looks like, other than tall?
Well, to be fair, I've only really ever seen his bootstraps.
Damn. Well, that's a bit taller than I was anticipating.
Oh, hey,
Um,
actually, Peleg! And he kind of like waves behind you guys. You guys turn around, I'm assuming.
Around.
Who's
Sure.
at the back of the group?
Probably me.
So, Dinok, as you turn, how tall are you again?
What, 6'3"?
Okay. So, as you like turn around, you are met I'd say face to face, but this is actually more like face to a wall of muscle.
Oh my.
As you turn around, and there is essentially, let's see, with you that height, the beginnings of washboard abs and a thick sternum and pectoral muscles are just currently right in your face.
Oh my.
And as you guys kind of
Wow.
like step back and kind of look up, you see this gray skin man standing probably 8.5 feet tall. Just kind of looking down at you guys. A quiver and bow slung over one shoulder, and his hand in his offhand, he seems to be carrying the head of a bear. Still freshly bleeding. And he kind of just looks down at you guys, and one of the things that you guys kind of notice is as he's looking at you guys, there's this black tattoo indicators that look like a spider web that essentially just go over his entire body, that is exposed to that is visible of flesh. Anyway, and he kind of just looks down, and by the way, I will say this right now. Excuse me. None of you guys heard him approach. You guys are all somewhat aware of everything that's going on around you. And while yes, it is a forge and it is kind of loud, for it being a dwarven forge, it's actually fairly well insulated. So like the only person who probably would have had an issue hearing anything like outside on like the city street would have been those who were like right at the counter. And so, like,
Wow.
you guys just never heard him approach, and he was just standing there, like, right behind Dinok as you guys turned. And he kind of looks down at you guys and just kind of looks you all over and kind of just goes, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
Wow. That description given by the half-orc did not do you justice, sir. You are a lot of man.
Flattery will not get you far in this village.
City.
Now. He kind of like rolls his eyes and almost shrugs.
I tried to tell him there was a village, but he wouldn't listen to me. So
Oh,
he's
well.
still he was still talking about being a city based on population. Either way, we're actually looking for you, Sir Huntsman. We have a message specifically for you from. Well, let me look back to my notes. Hang on. Give me one
Mayor
second.
Lee. I can't remember.
The
his name.
mayor from the city of Dagbor, Coldmain. Mayor Coldmain.
Yep.
No.
He requested
That
that.
doesn't sound right.
No?
No.
No,
Isn't it
no,
like
no, no. That's the
Mayor-
first name I saw. I apologize.
Not Zatch.
Like no,
Doesn't it
that's
start with a Z?
huh?
Hang on, hang
Doesn't
on.
it start with a Z?
It does.
Yeah. I wrote it down somewhere. I swear I did.
I'm pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere.
We all wrote it down somewhere.
We actually all
Okay.
wrote it down in chat. We just can't.
Okay, DM, remind me his name so I don't look like a total fool.
Sure, make a history check.
See it.
Oh,
What
God
name is the
damn it.
pastor?
I'll say it's with advantage because it was literally a couple days ago.
21 on history.
Zio Wisebrew.
Zio, thank you.
Yeah, Zio Wisebrew.
Mayor Zio. Okay. Scratch everything I just said. So we actually came here looking for you, Sir Huntsman. We were sent by Mayor Zio with a message specifically for you.
Oh.
Yes. So Katya produces one of the royal writs that he was given by the mayor, and kind of hands it over to Palig, and says, "The details of a requested meeting are in this writ, but essentially he wants all the leaders to meet in the neutral land in 2 weeks' time, as of 2 days ago."
He kind of like reaches out and plucks the letter from you, just like, and keep in mind it is strangely small in this man's hands, and you're almost like, should we have gotten him bigger paper? And he kind of just like pulls it out of your hand and drops the bear head in your hand as like a trade-off, and just hold that and kind of and pulls and opens up the letter.
Katya's left holding this bear head, just with a disgusted look on his face, like, "Oh, thanks."
How much does it weigh?
It's a.
I cast Mage Hand and try and lift it.
I would say, yeah. I don't think it would weigh more than 10 pounds. It'd probably barely not more than 10 pounds. But that is an unintentional pun. But yes.
The best kind.
Yep.
So I would say like as you're like left there holding this bear head, Katya, you're kind of like, oh, and
Staring
just
at you. Jaw.
Let me do a constitution check on that and see if I don't just drop that out of sheer disgust.
well, the spectral hand actually grabs it kind of by like the fur and ears and
Okay.
begins to lift it up out of your hands. There is some blood in your hands though. This was a fairly fresh kill.
That's a 12 on Constitution.
Are you gonna choose to keep your breakfast down?
Barely, but yes, barely.
Okay.
that was not intended either.
I'm gonna say, nice kill.
Kind of just like he's like reading and he kind of just goes. He's like currently reading and kind of like double checks the stamp. Looks down at you guys again. Huh. Like begins folding it, and you actually watch him like stick it in the quiver of his of where his arrows and stuff are. I will look over it more and consult with some trusted men. He reaches back out and grabs the bear head. I will summon you when I am ready. Do not stray far.
Aye, sir. We'll find something to do around here.
Flint, how he like looks past all of you. Flint, how are those arrows coming along? And Flint kind of like, aye, they're almost done. I'll have them to you by this evening. And kind of like, Pallet kind of goes, good, and like begins walking off, and you guys hear Flint like murmur like, 3,000 arrows isn't nothing easy to craft. Like goes back into the forge.
So, what do you
How
suppose
many
happened
arrows
to
did you
the
say?
He said
Sorry,
3,000. 3,000.
3,000?
Okay, yep, sure.
What do you suppose happened to the other half of that bear?
Remember those Spitfires we passed?
I feel like Cardin would just look at you and go like, half?
Passed. that we walked by.
The spit that we walked by. Yeah,
The
but that was burning last night. So
I'm saying he just got back. He probably came from there and he was right behind us. So I'm saying he may have dropped it off while he was going this way. Just an
maybe
idea.
he followed us all maybe he followed us all the way here, and we just didn't know it.
I mean, we haven't gained weird looks ever since we walked in here.
He's been following you guys since the forest, and everybody's like been making fun of you on the DL.
I have a question. Have I noticed? You said there were two people at the very beginning, like pointed at us, and then one went off.
Yeah.
Have I noticed like either of them?
Well, one of the
Since-
guys had like didn't move. Like he was still like you guys walked by the one guy that didn't move. The one guy that ran off, you have not seen.
Okay.
That might be important.
That also could be how Palig
Yeah.
knew that you guys were in town and looking for him.
True.
Yeah.
Guess we won't know until we get ambushed tonight.
Perhaps.
Dang it.
What do you think? What do you suppose he's gonna do with that bare head now?
Mount it.
Mount it? What do you
Mount
mean
it.
by mount?
Trophy.
Mount the head. Trophy.
Take it, put it on a piece of wood, and hang it on a wall.
Why would people do that? That's barbaric.
People like to remember big kills. I don't know. I grew up in a temple, not another place. Not a lodge. Let's go with that.
You have a way with words, Valinar.
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone says.
Just, I mean, I don't know much about hunting. Never had to do it myself. Never heard of anybody hunting for sport. I mean, I guess people can do that, just not where I'm from.
I've heard about a few of them.
In
Normally,
Hofkeen, in
hunt.
Hofkeen, no one had to hunt for anything but sport. That's all it was. No
You
one
mean-
needed to hunt for food. It was just the thrill.
You mean the food that you ate was made about the same way as the medicine? Right?
He doesn't say anything and kind of shiftily looks away. I'm neither going
My
to
people.
confirm nor deny that.
My people hunt. That's about all we do. We hunt for food. We hunt for trophies. But we typically can't take the trophies with us, so it's mostly for food.
And to decorate the places you have been. Right.
I mean, maybe to mark out our territory.
What do you do if a neighboring tribe comes over and steals your trophies and replaces them with their own? Would you ever know?
We replaced them on our way back through. Also, I don't even know if there is another tribe close by.
Maybe you chase them all out by walking around in circles.
Or the fierceness of our warriors.
Or you're just playing the ultimate game of capture the flag.
What is capture the flag? I must know this.
Or perhaps they're walking in the same path as you, but they're always one step behind, and so you're constantly chasing each other and don't even realize it.
Oh, so
What
you're
is
also
capture
doing
the
the
flag? What is it?
The entire idea of two teams trying to steal each other's flags.
I think this game
The
just
white
turned
steel
into.
flag.
I feel like
I
this
feel like
game
the
just turned
rules are
into explain what capture the flag is to Cardin.
I don't think we should explain this to you. I don't think you're going to understand the rules.
I mean, point me at thing. Point me at target. I get target. I bring back.
Yes, but you could
Essentially what it
also
is.
you could also be captured or attacked or whatever else. This is
Good
also a
try.
game where you don't kill or injure.
Oh, but that'd be no fun for him.
Well, I mean, we have fun in games with my tribe.
Okay,
Nothing
how many
like
of them
this, though,
end
I
with
would say.
broken limbs or blood?
Broken limbs, sure. Maybe not blood.
Okay.
We
How
have a
many
lot
of
of
them involve
boxing
singing?
matches.
What, no fights to first blood?
That's for very rare occasions when we really tick each other off.
That would almost be.
killing is like-
Cardin.
Yeah.
That would almost be like a ritual for determining chief.
Okay.
Yeah, just
That would be,
because of how much skill that would actually require. That would be like how chiefs are chosen whenever one would pass or fall in battle.
Yeah, that'd be like chief or battle master, or maybe like a court of swords type of deal, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Because killing is typically frowned upon of each other, specifically each other.
So how many of your games
I love how he has
involve
to. I love how he has
singing?
to add that. Killing is frowned upon of each other, specifically.
Specifically of others of the tribe. And what were you going to say, Kadia?
Based on how you awoke us the other night, the other morning, how many of your games involve singing?
We have a
Say none, please say none. Please say none.
3.
Oh God.
3?
One is for the head storyteller, and
Oh.
then like a head storyteller or like a tribal bard type of thing, and then in another case, it's just a free for all. Like if somebody wants to decide, it's typically decided between storytellers, and they're the only ones who really participate.
You must have participated a lot in the free for all.
No,
And it shows.
Good.
no.
Good.
So, quite some time has and will pass before you are summoned. Is there anything particular in the city that you would like to find out or adventure through? Or I will say, if you ask around, you may be able to find some very interesting things here yet in this city.
Just out of curiosity, Valnar is gonna see if he can find a temple of Geisma.
Okay.
Just out of a bit of a curiosity.
Okay. I will say, go ahead and make a either a perception or investigation check. If you're just kind of looking like while you're traveling around the city, it'd be more perception.
Perception it is. That's higher anyway. And nope.
Ooh.
Wow.
That won't work.
To be fair, you can't roll much lower.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So that is a 7.
Yes, it is.
You do not see any temples to Geisma here.
Cool.
Clearly.
Do I see anything?
Gold?
I will say that you notice what seems to be a bar. You know, that makes sense. Turning away from God and finding a bar. That seems to be I'll give you that. You found the bar.
All right, who wants to go to a bar?
I'd like to find out if there's. I mean, it doesn't seem overly likely in a city, air quotes, of this size, but perhaps there's a magic shop, or any kind of, I guess, maybe like a shaman. I don't know.
What use have I for magic?
Yeah, someone that practices magics or science or anything.
Do you
want to
look for someone?
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead and make it like an investigation check. Just something because you're actively looking for
21. Blackjack.
21.
So you do see that there is a general store. Like you see people coming in and buying material, and that's about it.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Yeah, but you're not sure if they sell magical items or anything like that. But you could always ask.
It doesn't hurt to look. As long as it doesn't cost us money just to walk into the store.
You never
I
know.
feel like that was more for the other town.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm going to start heading towards that general store. Take a look around.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Deanox, is the bar an actual bar or is it a pub?
There isn't a large difference between like a pub and a pub. So I would say it's a bit of both. There is no inn attached to it though. I will say that. So it is very much for drinks and food.
Well, what time is it in the sky?
About this point in time, you're probably looking at about noonish.
Deanox's gonna go to the pub and get some lunch.
Okay.
Actual food.
Okay.
Not this ration crap he's had to deal with the past few days.
Locally
fair.
grown.
Actually, that really
Fair
doesn't
enough.
sound like a bad idea.
I'm checking out the general store first. Then eat.
Okay.
My curiosity. I gotta state it.
Okay. So you don't want to check out the general store at all then, Deanox?
Not really.
Okay. So I will go ahead and do the general store first, and then we'll kind of do the food and stuff kind of as like a group, just because they'll give the same service to the others when they return. So for the
Gotcha.
general store individuals, so we have at least Katya and Valinar, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Cardin, where are you located at this point in time?
Cardin?
Cardin?
I'm Arcadia. Did you not hear me?
No, did not.
No.
Not at all.
Oh. Okay.
I was greeted with a moment of silence, and so you went to the general store. Okay.
I went with them. I must have leaned too far away from my mic.
Okay.
Way too far.
All right. So you guys kind of enter this general store of sorts, and as you guys kind of enter, you kind of see this half orc female actually turn around and goes, kind of like puts her hands on the counter and goes, "Hey, can I help you? Oh, I haven't seen you lot here before."
Yeah, we're kind of new in town. Just kind of checking out the place since we got time to kill.
Kind of like stands tall. She is a half orc and she is fairly well built. Again, Katya, you probably wouldn't want to arm wrestle her.
I could get my butt kicked by a girl.
I would probably be tempted.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Well, I would probably be more tempted to arm wrestle the dude we saw earlier.
You'd be tempted to arm wrestle any of these guys in here, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, she kind of turns and goes, actually kind of looks you guys all over. She kind of goes, "Well, can I help you?"
Well, I would like to know more about possibly if you have any magical items in stock, or I at least want to check the price of healing potions if you have any of those.
Unfortunately, I don't sell those. That's Miss Ruthway's area of expertise. She does not live inside the city. She actually, a little ways downriver, small, kind of like a small, I guess you could call it a hut.
Oh. What'd you say her name was?
Miss Ruthway.
Ruthway. Gotcha. Well, that's definitely something that we can check out later. But we're here now. As far as magical items or any kind of magic, what have you got around?
Again, I sell none of that. That's all Miss Ruthway. What I sell is I sell rope, hammers, nails, whatever you may need to fix something, or I sell. She kind of indicates to some of the farm equipment nearby. So lots of tools to be used on a farm. Are you guys looking to settle down here?
Not exactly.
Probably wouldn't
We're
want
just
those.
passing through. We're kind of messengers.
Okay.
Give or take.
The only other thing that I can help with then is salted beef. We have some rations essentially that can last.
Oh, there you go, Valinor. Rations.
Hey, how much are the rations?
I believe they are like a couple silver for a day, for a day's worth. Let me just double check my player's hand. Okay, so they are 5 silver pieces per day. So 5 silver pieces gets you an entire day's worth of rations.
Okay. So then for a gold, can I do 2?
Yeah, you can get 2
Yeah,
days
that-
for gold.
I'll do that. I'll buy 2 for a gold.
All right. Thank you for your business. Here's some of this, and you get a lot of like actually salted and dried meats from
Yes.
her.
Ooh, nice.
Actual rations.
A lot less of like these berries and grains that some of the others have had due to this is what we have to make rations out of. So here you go.
Yeah. Here's a berry paste. Have fun.
What? What was that?
Here's some berry paste. Have fun. Honestly, after actually seeing what some of these rations look like, might buy a couple himself.
Okay. Again, they're 5 silver pieces a piece. So 5 silver for 1 day, or a gold piece for 2 days.
I'll spend a gold piece.
And again, you get some more. Again, you get some salted beef and preserved meats. There are still like berries and stuff included in this, or dried fruits, I guess, not berries. But you still get meat with it.
It's a lot better than what I've been eating, and it sure beats. I mean, it won't beat a home cooked meal, but I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Anything for Cardin? No?
Uh, don't have
He's
nothing
thinking.
that he wants to spend on at the moment. He's just sort of along for the ride.
Okay.
I see Carton. He's looking at the shopkeeper. You know,
So-
maybe I can arm wrestle you to get that money back.
Perhaps. Okay.
Perhaps.
So Valinar is going to ask about holy books, by the way.
Okay. What do you want to ask?
I want to ask if they have like the Holy Book of Geisma.
Are you looking for like what's the purpose behind the book? I guess because I know some folks use it as a focus and a sort.
Well, I've got my holy symbol. I just lost mine. And I wanted to get a replacement copy.
Okay. You looking for the full text or like a shorthand?
The full text.
Full text. Okay. Let me see what we got. I know we have some books. Some traders usually come through, and we end up with strange things from time to time. See what
she refers to your holy text as strange things.
Yeah.
Not exactly what she's meaning by that. If you would like to roll an insight check, you could determine the exact nature of said terminology.
Sure, why not? 11.
Oh yeah, she's making fun of his religion totally.
Good.
Actually, looking in this book, I'm actually coming across a word that I do not recognize. So give me one moment.
I did it. I screwed him up again.
Uh-huh.
I just
Play Stealth the DM.
He just fell asleep with watch and didn't realize it.
Let's not bring that up.
Okay. I have heard of this word before. I have just never seen it written.
Okay.
That's why I was thrown for such a loop. Okay,
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Alright. I have a ballpark price in my head now, so let me see if they have it. Unfortunate, she kind of comes back with like 3 books in her hands. Unfortunately, we don't have anything on Geisma. The only religious texts we have currently are on we have Knock, Kane, and Mortem at the moment.
Not Kane and Morton?
Mm-hmm. So the god
How
of
much-
the god of death, trickery, and war are essentially what the you're a holy man. I don't expect you to. I expect you to kind of already know that, so I'm not going to make you
Yeah.
roll for it.
How much are they running each?
Well, for each
Interesting.
book, because they are holy scriptures and texts, you're looking at about 30 gold pieces per book.
Ooh. There's
Yeah.
some expensive books there.
Honestly, I consider that fair. The player's handbook has a book, regular book, listed at 25 gold.
Yeah.
I'm like, and these are
I don't
considered
like it.
holy scriptures, in a sense.
Well, I think I'll pass for now.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
I understand. Like I said, it's what we have for the time until more traders come through, and she like kind of takes them and she kind of puts them on another shelf that she has back behind her.
Man, the price of knowledge is just so high right now.
Well, don't be so poor.
Knowledge.
I would have money if I had chosen to inherit my father's business. Thank you very much. But because I chose to do the right thing, I don't have.
I wouldn't need money if I still lived in a temple.
Fine, if I still lived with my people.
You'd still be poor. Anyway.
Damn.
Is there anything else I can help you find while you are here?
You said, the woman with the hut lives just outside of town, down the river. Which direction?
Well, the river only flows in one direction.
Okay, so follow the flow of the river, and we'll find a hut.
Well, you'll want to you'll want to go upstream, but yes.
Upstream. Okay, against the flow. Gotcha.
Actually, I'm gonna roll
Sounds good
something
to
for
me.
her real quick. Talked. Oh, that's a really good roll. Okay. Kind of like, for somebody who's as intelligent as you, you do not listen very well.
I just wanted
She
to
kind of
verify.
like laughs.
And...
She kind of laughs as she says that a little bit as well. She doesn't mean it in a hurtful way. She's mostly being playful, you gather.
I feel like that can be said of a lot of smart people.
My brain's trying to do 10 different things at once. It's
Probably
And,
why they don't-
bit difficult to
apparently
remember
listening
things.
is not one of them. She
Oh, yeah,
kind of like
definitely not.
gives this like real playful smile.
Well, I do thank you anyways.
Okay.
We would try to check out that hut now. Or at some point in the near future.
Just be careful. The forest can always be dangerous.
As dangerous as being attacked by 2 griffins in the middle of the night?
She kind of like looks at you. Perhaps. You're still breathing.
You realize that I killed those griffins, sort of.
I'm pretty sure Kadia killed the griffins.
Oh yeah, Kadia
And-
killed them, but
And you just barely survived the second fight.
but I rode the griffin
Excuse-
down.
Almost to your
Yep.
death.
And
If it
nearly
wasn't
died.
for me, you would be dead.
Well, I mean, you kind of killed the griffin while he was 200 feet in the air.
I didn't kill the griffin. I watched
kill the
as somebody did.
I don't remember who killed the griffin. I didn't. I kept trying to heal him so he would survive.
Kadia did with like a witch bolt or something. Or
I-
no, Denock did with magic missile.
Yeah.
Denock did with
Oh,
magic
yeah.
missile.
Yeah.
Did
So
not
they
try to
hit
kill.
the-
Tried to
It
kill
hit
you.
the head, the wing, and the stomach.
Right.
Now I have to really mull this over my head, decide if it's really worth going out there or not. Is it more dangerous at nighttime or daytime?
Well,
Asking this of the shopkeeper.
I mean, she kind of like looks at you and goes, "The daytime you'll be able to see."
Well, that's okay. I stepped right into that one. That's pretty obvious. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would
Alright.
say during the day would be less dangerous because then you could at least see danger coming.
Okay. Well, we'll have to round up Denock. Probably get something to eat before we do that. Then.
It is about
At the very
lunchtime,
least.
yes.
Yeah. At this moment, Kadia realizes that he's actually starting to get hungry.
Yeah, at this point in time, you guys probably would be.
Those rations didn't hold me very long.
So
Well, yeah,
you guys
they
begin
were
heading
rations.
towards the bar, unless there's anything else you want to do here at the store.
I'm good.
Okay.
Onward.
Thank you, man.
Excuse
And
me.
you have a good day.
And you as well. So you guys begin heading back towards the bar. Meanwhile, Dinok, as you enter this bar, change things. As you enter the bar, you see a human man currently tending to the bar, pouring drinks, cleaning glasses, while you see a human woman in the kitchen currently making food, and you do see a few other humans like going from table to table to table. But you see again various patrons in here. Most everybody is got a plate of food with them. There are some people who are drinking, but they're not. It looks to be like an ale, not something terribly heavy. As you assume, most
More
people
like
have to.
recreational drinking.
Yeah, more like it's either this or water, and I'll be damned if I'm drinking water.
Fair enough.
Because I will say, other than like the kids here, like all of the adults, for the most part, they all seem weathered in a sense. So you kind of enter, and as you kind of step in and are looking around, you see one of the younger human ladies actually running from table to not running, walking from table to table. Kind of goes.
Real quick.
Hmm?
Do the humans serving look like the humans at the bar and kitchen?
Make a. Oh God, what would this be? I guess a nature check.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's try it.
11. In some areas, yes, more so than others, but you gather that they're probably the offspring of the two running the bar, essentially.
Cool. So it's a family business.
Mhm.
Neat.
But as like one of them kind of passes you, she kind of just over her shoulder, pick a table, any open table that you can find. Somebody will be by shortly to take your order. And kind of hurries off to another table.
I look for one with 4 chairs specifically.
Okay.
How thoughtful.
There's one kind of nearish to the bar, but yet still like you're not gonna be at the bar. You're gonna be a little bit off from the bar, but there's one kind of nearish, probably 20 feet or so from the door.
I go to it,
Okay. You go and you sit down, and
making sure that I face the door.
fair enough. Fair enough. You kind of sit down and you begin to kind of look around, and you sit for a couple of minutes, but eventually a young boy actually kind of comes up. He's probably no more than 13, you would imagine. And he kind of like comes up, and he's got like a pad and like an inkwell kind of little like kind of tilted back so that the ink isn't dripping onto the floor right onto the paper. He goes, "Can I get you anything, sir?" We had today's special is hog, slow roasted with sides of baked beans.
I will have that, and I will have a light ale, please.
Kind of like you see him like kind of jotting it down. Okay. Anything else for you?
I will have 3 friends coming shortly.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to wait on
probably
this, or do you
hungry.
want this to be brought out to you directly?
Do you have anything light to eat while I wait for the food?
Okay, so put on hold drive. And he kind of like underlines that a little bit and kind of goes, I recommend our salted our salted essentially mix. It's got a bunch of different nuts and berries, things gathered from the woods. It's fairly light but yet very tasty.
That'll do.
Okay, and he kind of like jots it down and kind of leaves. A few minutes later, he actually brings you a small wooden bowl of what seems to be different berries and nuts found in the woods here, as well as your ale, essentially. You asked for light, I understand, but you got an ale for the purposes of this.
Yeah, no, just
So, um, so you, when you eat some of these nuts and berries, it's actually really good. The nuts themselves are salted to a point where they're not necessarily overbearing. There's still that nut flavor when you crunch into it. And eventually, after a couple of like pinches in your hands, you found that if you manage to get some of the fruit, both dried and fresh fruit are in this. When you get some of the fresh fruit, the sweetness from the berries kind of wash everything together, making for a very delightful blend of both sweet and salty. As you continue to snack on this for probably another 10 or 20 minutes before before the rest of your party walks through the door.
okay. I just kind of sit there, just kind of watching patrons, occasionally
Okay.
looking at the door.
Okay. Like I said, probably after 10 minutes or so, they kind of walk in through the front door, and they kind of begin looking around. You guys see the same kind of a situation in terms
Real
of
quick,
what people are doing.
Before they notice me, I
Okay.
mage hand to poke Carden in the back of the head.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
So
swat
what's
at it.
you swat at it like a fly?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do so.
Probably don't do so lightly.
So you're making an attack roll.
Well, he's like swatting at it like aggressively, but he figures it's probably like a fly. Is what he's
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm trying to kill a fly.
saying.
Just
Okay.
gonna go join D-Knock at the table.
Okay.
I'm waving you over, by the way.
Ignore Carden's shenanigans.
But
Well, I
you-
don't
I
realize
give him a
there's a
funny
mage
look.
hand behind me, so I'm just like,
right.
what?
So you guys eventually go sit down with, Enoch and kind of arrive. Again, you guys see the same thing that what Enoch saw when he came in. The family essentially running the bar. People eating and drinking and leaving. At this point in time, there's probably a few less patrons than when Enoch got there, as some people have eaten and have since left. But you guys sit down and are rejoined as a group again.
So,
Yay.
did you find anything at the general store?
We found real rations.
Excuse you, what?
I said we found real rations. Dried meats and actual food. That'll tie us
Oh.
over while we're out in the wilderness.
Might have to go there later.
Maybe. It is kind of on the way between here and somewhere I'd like to go. I can't speak for the other two, but I received word that there is a woman living out in a hut along the riverbank, and she deals in magic. Wouldn't be
Do you
a
not
bad idea
tilt his
to
head?
investigate.
Did you ask what kind of magic?
Well, when I asked the shopkeeper about magic items and healing potions, she directed me in that direction.
So you didn't ask what kind of magic you practice.
No, he
Not
didn't.
exactly, no.
Okay.
I just didn't think that would be a important point to know.
Enoch shrugs. Well, she could just be divination, and that's it. Not very useful for most things. Unless you're looking for
Yes.
something.
Yeah, but it can be fun.
True.
It gives us something to do other than standing around and doing nothing in town.
The last time I went to see someone about the future, they told me I'd be an exile.
Deanoch looks
what?
in the.
And
Deanoch looks around the bar and kind of shrugs. Are you sure that's not true? And just gestures.
No, it's most definitely true.
At this
Fair
point in
enough.
time, the same little boy from earlier kind of walks up and goes, I see your friends have arrived. Are you guys ready to order? I don't know if he
yes.
told you or not, but today's special is hog roasted and with a side of baked beans.
I'll do that.
Okay, another
That
order
sounds
of that.
lovely. Why not?
2 orders of that. He kind of looks to you, Carden. His eyes kind of go wide a little bit, like just your unkept nature is kind of just lost on him a little bit.
Both
Carden?
my wild.
Carden.
Did you not hear
He
me?
must have passed out again.
No.
He must have passed
No.
out at the table.
Go ahead.
I
Leave.
said,
Yeah, leave the call and rejoin because that's weird, dude.
Smart Mike normally picks up really well.
Oh.
Maybe he needs to eat it more.
Maybe it's a bad internet connection.
Is this work?
Ooh.
We'll find out.
Well, yeah.
What did you want to do for food?
I'll do the special.
Okay, so that's 4 special. Okay, and then somebody was trying to say something. I think it was Deanoch.
Well, I was going to say for Carden because I don't think he's ever been in a restaurant before.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I was in the
But wait.
last one.
What about the bar back in Dybor?
He got ale, and I get a lot of free ale from the street.
A lot of free
But-
food from the street.
Oh yeah, we never actually ordered anything. I mean, we walked in and said, "Can we have breakfast?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You
you
ordered
weren't really
breakfast.
given an option. You were basically said, sure. You were basically said, here's breakfast.
True.
Food.
I probably wouldn't know like how to do it at an actual restaurant then.
Yeah, that's fair. So actually, go ahead and do what what you were gonna say, Deanoch, because I think this would be a very interesting character point.
So Deanoch turns to the kid and says, a special for both me and my wild friend.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have those brought out momentarily. Anything to drink for the rest of you? I know you have an ale. Would you like a refill?
Yes, please.
Okay, and kind of marks that down.
And
I'll
for
take
my
water. Chilled.
You said chilled.
Chilled. You know, cold.
Chilled would cost a little bit extra. Are you okay with that? He kind of says as he's writing things down.
Let me take an estimate. How much is the meal already?
You have no idea. He has yet to say any price point.
I was asking him.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't hear. So, okay. So for the meal itself, you're looking at. See, since it's a special, you're looking at about 5 silver for the whole meal. It'll be quite a bit of
Okay.
food. Just bear in mind.
Okay.
But it is very good, very well cooked. And then ales are about a silver piece per drink.
How much is the water?
Water would be 2 silver pieces. For it being chilled, you're looking at 4.
Okay, fair enough. And how much would it cost me to cover the cost of my compatriots here?
Well, that depends on how much they eat, sir.
All of it. I'm buying. And then Katya looks around the table and says, "Consider this my apology for the horrendous way that I treated you all when we first met."
Apology accepted. Dead.
Oh. So you said you're getting a water chilled?
Yes.
Okay.
So I turn to Katya and say, an ale might not be enough for Cardin. Might want to go with something stronger.
What's the strongest that? What is the strongest that you provide here?
Kind of like, Dad, kind of like looks over at the bartender, and at the moment he's currently cleaning a glass, and he kind of looks over, and the kid kind of like waves him with the little bit of notepad, and he kind of comes over, and he's a human man, not very large, kind of thinly built, and he kind of goes, yeah, what's going on here? What can I help with? And he kind of goes, I want to know what the strongest drink we have is. Oh, well, we have the the strong. Are you looking for? He kind of just looks. He goes, we have the Mr. or the Mrs. Brew, and the Mrs. Brew is more of is one of our strongest wines. The Mr. Brew is a very heavy, essentially, a whiskey or bourbon.
I just point to Cardin, like noticeably point to Cardin. Just point.
It's
point,
for him.
Point.
Okay, I mean, if he's more than welcome to have one, of course, but
But that wine does sound delicious. And I haven't had a good bit of wine in a while. Scratch this chilled water. I'll take that, Mrs.
okay.
Hey, Mister.
No, I
okay.
specifically want the Mrs.
Okay, the special drinks are, I will just say, they are 2 gold apiece, just for your information.
Wow.
I got it.
So,
And I'm only ordering one.
You're taking a Mrs. Brew, 2 gold pieces, and you're getting a Mr. Brew for Cardin.
Let's see if that doesn't touch him.
Okay. And then we have Valinar.
I'm just ordering an ale.
Okay, so you're getting 1 meal and an ale.
Yeah, I'm getting the special and an ale.
Okay. All right. Kind of goes, okay, well, we'll have your. He kind of like looks at the notepad over his son's shoulder and kind of goes, we'll have the food right out to you, and I'll have those drinks made up. My boy here will bring them over to you as soon as they're finished. He kind of says, and with a smile, and kind of steps back, and the boy kind of goes, we'll have that out right away, and kind of turns and runs off towards the kitchen.
Yes.
He returns a couple minutes later with a refill for Danak and a drink for Valinar. And then he runs back to the bar and returns with the glass of wine for you, Katya. Again, it's wine. It comes in. It doesn't come like in your typical wine glass that you would think of. It comes in more of like a still kind of comes in a stein, essentially. It's not a very large stein, but it's smaller than an ale stein, but it's still a stein.
It's a fancy stein.
Basically. And then he comes back,
Frankenstein.
and then he comes back with what I would say a bowl, but it's not a bowl. Essentially like a Japanese shot glass. I cannot remember what it is called. It's pretty big though. It's probably the size of like a small saucer.
Sake glasses?
Not the glasses, but the thing that you pour
using traditional Japanese.
Yeah, like what you would pour the sake from the bottle into. I cannot remember It's like a small saucer, but it's still like bowl shaped.
Yeah.
And he brings back one of those of this with like a thick brown liquid in it, and sets it on the table for Cardin. So, and then your Mrs. Brew is almost like a deep purple color, and it's got a very fruity flavor to it, or taste, or smell to it.
Essentially the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So,
Roll a shot mine.
okay, you shot it. It is very good. It is very good. It is a thick liquid that as it runs down your throat, it has both a burning and a cooling sensation to your in your throat. And as it passes, eventually the burning sensation kind of, because it kind of deepens, and then like sets in your chest for a moment, and it gives almost like this warm embrace kind of a feeling. It's not enough to make you drunk. It is
Damn it.
it is strong. Like, it's stronger than any ale or typical whiskey that you would normally drink, but it's not enough to make you drunk just based off of your constitution. I don't need you to roll for it yet. And it is very good. It has a very very heavy like almost oak like flavor to it, that seems to have been like burned and wetted over time, and it's very tasty, and it oddly reminds you of home.
Aw. Katya's gonna take his sweet time sipping at the wine.
Your drink is very sweet. It is a very sweet wine, with almost like a bitter aftertaste that strangely complements the drink. And it is very good. And to the best of your knowledge, you're not quite sure what kind of berries or fruits are being used to create this drink. After probably 5 or 10 minutes, food is brought to you guys, and it is a sizable amount of food.
Damn, they cook those hogs fast.
Well, it's not a whole hog. You don't get a whole hog. But what is served to you guys essentially comes on a serving platter. Which, if you guys aren't really sure what those are or how big they are, go find your china dishes, and it's the really big one that you never use.
Yeah. A serving platter's gigantic.
Yeah, they're literally huge. It's probably, like, I would say they're bigger than like a notebook, like a regular notebook paper. Like, it's bigger than one of those. So, but what you do get is you get a lot of beans, essentially, and you get a lot of ham. Essentially, it's sliced ham.
What?
For how much a full eighth would be of the Mr. Brew?
You
I'm
have
sorry,
no idea.
What's the server kid for the full eighth of the Mr. Brew? Like, how much that would be?
You want an eighth of the Mr. Brew.
Yeah.
Anyone else think he's already drunk?
Yeah. I'm not sure what he's asking here.
The kid's probably like, I don't think we serve that drink in lesser quantities, unfortunately.
No, I meant like a bottle of it.
Oh, you want to get the bottle of it. Let me ask my father, and I'll shall return. But again, the hog slices are cut fairly thick, and laid on the platter. They're they are cooked to essentially perfection. Um, they are they seem to have like a shine to them. And as you guys kind of like cut into them, there's a and in like take your first bite, there is an additional taste. Like you guys, everybody knows what hog tastes like. It's already pretty good. But this has an additional taste. It's probably I don't even know what to have you guys roll if you guys wanted to identify it.
Nature?
I was about to say nature.
I'll say either nature or perception. I will allow either or here because it's kind of like a tasting, like a taste test.
That's a 6.
Okay.
That's
So-
a 17.
So
That's
everybody
a
but
13.
so everybody but Katya figures it out. It is essentially a honey. It's a honey glaze that has been lathered on these thick slices of ham and have been allowed to seep into the ham as it cooks in its own fat.
I really want ham now.
Oh my god, you're making me hungry.
Damn you, Rip.
I've already eaten.
Makes you feel any better? Me too.
Everyone wants ham now.
I stop. I look at the bowl. That still has a few berries and nuts in it.
Mm-hmm.
I take some of the berries,
Okay.
some of the less salty ones, and put them on the ham.
Okay. So you add a very an additional like sweet essentially juice that as it pops in your mouth, it almost washes the flavor of the honey and the ham down your throat even faster than you're swallowing it.
I
That's
just sit
good.
back and I'm just gone.
What was that, Valinar?
Valinar's kind of mumbling to himself. Man, I forgot how good well-cooked food is.
It's only been 2 days, guys.
I mean, it's not the best I've ever had, but it's delicious. It's pretty high up there.
Eventually the little boy comes back and to you, Carden, and he kind of goes, if you want a whole bottle of the Mr. Brew, it is going to be. He kind of like looks at his notepad that he wrote down. Father says it'll run about 12. Let's see, that's 2 for that. So you get. It'll be about it would run you about 16 gold pieces for the full bottle.
Oh, jeez.
Ugh. That's half the price of a holy book.
Well, to be fair, I rolled
That
a
is his
nat
holy
one. Well, not nat one intelligence, but I rolled a low intelligence.
To be fair, though, Valinar,
Hmm?
that drink could be his holy book.
I
Well,
don't know
you-
about that.
you
He tried to
also-
fight drunk.
I mean, you guys are also, essentially in a family-owned bar. You don't really know anybody's name either. So, that's what he does tell you about how much it would cost you in order for a whole bottle.
I order it.
You order it, okay?
Hey,
I'm assuming you're
I-
paying for
I-
that one out of your own pocket.
I'm paying for that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to say, I paid for your one drink. I'm not buying your bottle. That one's on.
That's kind of what I assumed, but
Mm-hmm.
I did want to. I thought that would be fun. So.
Oh man.
Drain my bank account.
um. So. Um. And then I said baked beans were the other one, right?
Yeah. You
So-
gonna describe those next?
Yes, I am actually.
Damn
Oh
it.
boy.
Here we go.
So,
I would love you. I would love for you to make baked beans actually sound delicious.
I'm about to. You've never had.
Oh my.
Because
Oh, no.
this is the way that we do it, my family style. So as you guys begin to cut, kind of like spoon into the baked beans themselves, the liquid surrounding the beans is thick, much like you would, much like the drink that Hardin drank earlier. But it has obviously a different texture and taste.
Mhm.
The beans are soft to the point where like you can mush them with your tongue on the top of your mouth.
Ooh,
And as you kind of
that's
like,
very baked.
huh?
That's very baked.
As you like kind of get the juice that comes that have essentially bled from the beans themselves, and you kind of pull it from your mouth on the spoon, you get this very heavy taste of, well, obviously bean, but you also get like this thick taste of also like just a slight sweet taste of honey that you probably assume is probably from the runoff of the ham. Whereas additionally with a texture of almost like a soup from the liquid that has been very marinated in a sense of the beans, and it has this very strange spice that gives it both a pop as you kind of eat it, and it tastes bizarre in a sense. And then additionally, you're also tasting what you guess is like a fat, like a popped fat that kind of is mixed with the soup itself. It kind of throws you off guard, but when you get into the next spoonful, you figure out why. In addition to the beans, you also find yourself finding small chunks of bacon baked in with the beans and served. As you eat it, it's all very tender, it's all very tasty, it's got a very warm and pleasant taste to it, as it got this very sweet complement of the ham, and this very, I don't want to say sour because that's not what it is. I guess mild taste from the beans that give you this very enjoyable meal. And like I said, there's a lot of it. Like when the kid brought it, like when the kid brought it out to you guys, he had to make 4 trips to the kitchen. He could only carry 1 platter at a time. Granted, he's like I said, probably 13.
There's no way I'll be able to eat it all at once. I don't suppose we can convert the rest into rations for later.
Eat the rest of it.
Cardin's like, the rest of it, and you look over and Cardin's plate is licked clean.
I'm still working on, like, I'm not even halfway done yet.
So
Probably eating a good chunk of mine.
it was a very good meal. Also,
I've eaten
ironically,
about-
one of the. It's also ironically probably one of my favorite dishes for like holidays that we go to, because we always do like ham and baked beans. Baked beans with bacon in it is so good. I don't know what it is, but it's so good.
You're not wrong.
Baked
You lost
beans,
me at
green
baked
beans.
beans.
Huh?
You lost me at baked beans.
baked beans with like bacon and green beans with bacon both are really good.
Green beans, yes. Baked beans, not my
Yeah.
favorite.
Put like you do like a maple syrup glaze almost into the barbecue.
That's what I was
Ooh.
looking for. That's the description. Like that's kind of the description of the essentially the instead of soup, it's almost like a maple syrup consistency, which gives that strange sweet and kind of
Oh,
mild
might be
taste to it. So
that might be okay.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the words and I couldn't think of it.
Think harder.
Bacon. Ooh.
But you guys kind of continue to eat your meal in peace. And I think while you guys think about your food, this is a good opportunity to take a short break to get food and drink.
Yes,
But
yes,
unfortunately,
indeed.
we don't have enough time to make a ham.
No, you do not.
But do you?
No, that's not how time works.
So
Well,
we're
I
gonna.
mean, it was
Maybe
only
in this
cooked for
world it
5
does.
minutes, so.
I mean, that's what a microwave's for.
All right, so guys, we're gonna take just a a quick, short few minute break here, to kind of let the idea of all that food kind of empty from our minds and grab our own snack and drinks as we need them. So we'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, guys.
11.
Thank you. Our time. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break here. We're gonna go ahead and get back into it. So I have to ask. Eventually, you guys are sent for. After several hours, you guys are eventually sent for by Valinar, the guy that ran off beforehand. When you first got there, he comes and kind of goes, and kind of just comes before you and goes, oh, sorry, my stomach. Kind of just steps forward and kind of goes, the huntsman wishes to. He kind of begins to leave the bar. So this is after a couple of hours of sitting and being able to eat. So over the because I imagine you guys would take a couple of hours to kind of just sit and eat and talk and drink.
That's good food.
Enjoy the good home cooked meal, essentially. So I need
I'm
to.
about to pass out into a food coma.
So I need to ask. We'll just start and go around the table here. So Dinak, how many more ales do you think you would have ordered? You already consumed 2.
That would probably be it. I would have sipped it throughout the entire rest of the meal.
Okay. Valinar, for you?
Probably about 2, same as Dinon.
Okay. And then Carden. You had your one Mr. Wise brew, which was 2 gold pieces. Would you have ordered an ale later to go with the meal?
To go with the meal. Saving that bottle for like. Yeah, I would have had it for the meal. I was saving the bottle that I bought for more special occasions.
Right, I get that.
Just
so,
Mhm.
how many ales would you have drunk during the meal?
Probably just like 2.
Okay. And then
Jesus.
Katya.
Learn.
Yes.
I was good with just my wine.
Just your wine? Okay.
Just my wine.
Okay.
That lasted me the whole meal.
All right. So we have total for you here, Katya. You would have six. We'll call it 8 8 gold pieces, and that'll include a fairly sizable tip
Perfect.
for
I got it.
everything. Assuming you're not paying for Cardin's drink.
Oh no, I'm not
the
paying
big
for
drink.
his big one. No, that's on him. But yes, I will gladly pay 8 gold pieces.
Yeah, I figured you would as royalty. You know that it's or not royalty, I guess technically. You would know that it's common courtesy to leave some form of a tip.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you would have been leaving. I want to say like a 6 silver tip or something like that, which is essentially.
Yeah, I essentially just rounded up.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, okay, so the individual who summoned you from the bar leads out of the bar, and you guys actually walk past the spit. The spit. Where actually now you see essentially a deferred bear hanging over a roaring fire. Or not a roaring fire. I guess kind of a slow burning fire, with actually the bear fur kind of up and over the spick itself, to essentially tan the fur. Multi-purposing a area as you gather.
That's efficient.
Cardin, this looks familiar to you. This looks familiar to you. This is something you and your tribe have done. Whenever hunting larger game, you guys would have essentially done a slow roast over a fire where you would have roasted the creature for many hours. And if it would have had fur, you would have done a similar setup to this to allow the drying of the skin and smoking of the hide.
I'm severely interested in it. I'm just like watching it, completely enamored.
It looked familiar. Like I said, the setup is kind of similar, and you're just like something that people that I finally understand.
Yeah, I'm like, roast me, something I understand.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm like, this reminds me of home, people. I'm just gonna watch this because it's fun.
Okay. Well, the rest of the party is following an individual. As you guys pass past this area, it leads you into kind of a larger, not necessarily like large building, but larger than the others.
Well, it's housing a giant
Mm-hmm.
of a man.
Are you honestly staying behind then, Cardin?
Like I would like to, but I know I shouldn't, type of a deal. So no, I'm probably just gonna be like staring as we go by,
Okay.
and then I'll start walking backwards.
Where are you in the group, by the way?
Are you bringing up the rear? Or are you in the middle or the front or?
I would probably be in the front, like, because I want to be in the back, but I'd probably be in the front.
Oh well.
Like as a player, I would be in the back, but as Cardin, he's going to be like following.
Okay, then make a perception check for me at disadvantage as you turn backwards.
It's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Wow.
14. So you don't immediately fall on your back as you're walking backwards, and you kind of know to kind of.
But you do feel this at the back of your head.
I'm like, where is that dang fly coming from?
And you know over the course of time to kind of like look over your shoulder to make sure that you're still following this individual. And by the way, the guy is wearing kind of a traditional hunter's outfit in a sense. Slightly green and brown colors in essentially uniform that he is wearing to help blend in with the forest. He leads you guys inside the building, and eventually the spit falls from your point of view, Cardin. So, and he leads you into a room where he opens the door and indicates for all of you to go inside. And as you
Step
do,
right in.
as you guys step in, you see Palig sitting at a table with like two other men, both human, so much smaller than he, and he kind of goes, "Please sit." Kind of indicates to several chairs in front of us. Behind you, the door
And I
is
said-
closed, as the individual did not enter the room. You guys sit.
Of course.
Okay, so Palig kind of leans back in his chair and kind of goes, "So, I'd like to hear the story from your lips. I've read the paper," and he like taps. Excuse me, I had to burp. He kind of taps the letter here, because I've read this, but I want to hear your story.
What would you like to hear? How we got the writs, or why we have it?
Well, according to this, we are to gather in order to discuss how we are not the only islands, if you would, afloat. Many of us do not see this as a possibility that we are the only ones floating, because otherwise we would have run into them. Theory, anyway. But how would we have never heard of another country, essentially, doing what we did?
Have you ever
That's-
gone past the edge of the island?
Me, no, because I would not be here. Those who have never returned.
Maybe the space between the islands is so dangerous.
Then how did you get here?
Magic.
Yeah,
Magic-
essentially.
Magic that can bring you between realms that one cannot cross.
We really don't know how we got here.
But tell me
All of us
everything
were-
you do know about the place since you've been here. What has happened? What has
I woke
unfolded?
up here.
We literally went. I went to sleep in the woods, and I woke up in a cave next to these guys.
Best
Exactly.
we can tell, some kind of teleportation magic brought each of us from wherever we were to a cave not too far. How far would you say it was from the cave to this town?
Maybe
I'm
just a
talking
few
to my
hours.
group.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
3 days.
From the cave to the city.
Wasn't that a day?
Better part of a day, I believe.
So I think we left the cave and we basically got to that church at nightfall.
Yeah, so about 3 days ish.
No, not from the cave to here. The cave to the first town.
Oh, gotcha. Over here doing too much math in my head.
Settle down.
Yeah.
Arden has just removed himself from the conversation, and it's just like, what is going on? I'm just gonna zone out. That's sort of what Carden's doing at the moment.
Fair
Because he
enough.
is like he doesn't understand any of this.
Yeah.
It's
So
okay, you can't read a map.
Kind of like is like he's kind of so Palig is trying to absorb everything that you guys are saying, and he's going with it, and he kind of comes, his eyes kind of meet with yours for a moment, Carden, and he kind of goes, "And what of you? Have you always been in that rock, or did you wake up there as well?"
woke up there as well. I was with my tribe originally. I was with my tribe in the foresty mountain areas that we call home. And then I woke up in a room next to these weirdos.
How did your tribe not notice you were gone, or even be or moved or whatever? How wouldn't they have tried to stop you? Sounds to me like you had lots of people around you specifically when you vanished.
I don't know because I was asleep and I woke up in that room. So I don't know exactly what's happening with my tribe at the moment.
The best theory I can come up with is either A, it was somebody playing, like maybe somebody cast a spell and it backfired and we all ended up suffering because of it, or B, the divines have something to do with this.
And at this, you hear just the slightest low growl coming from Enoch's throat.
Okay.
I can't think of any spell that could have gone so wrong as to pluck 4 random people.
You'd be
out of
surprised.
Completely
You'd be
different
surprised.
locations.
You'd be surprised at some of the weird things that can happen when a spell goes wrong. Believe me.
Like my cousin, he tried to use Dimension Door, and we found him in 3 different pieces, still alive, still perfectly fine, in 3 different parts of the city. No idea how he did it. Never been able to do it again.
He probably just cast Dimension Door like 3 times.
Shush you.
Well,
says the barbarian out of nowhere.
Like in Cardin's complete ignorance. He's like, he probably just cast it 3 times.
well, there are many things wrong with this whole operation. First off, if you are indeed tasked with summoning the different lords of the land, I don't approve. And the reason being, you're carrying around a seal, which is easily recognizable by all.
Mm-hmm.
You're a bunch of faces nobody has ever seen. We all have messengers that are representatives of our cities that people know and respect.
Mm.
We do not know you. You have not earned my respect.
Like to arm wrestle for it?
I just
Respect
put my
as a
hand on
war-
the card and mouth.
Respect as a warrior is one thing. Respect as an individual is another. I can clearly tell that
Fair.
I can clearly tell that your friends are at least somewhat capable. To what extent I do not know, but I still do not know you.
Well, I mean, Mayor Zio would have sent his messenger if he thought that it would have worked. But I think the reason that he sent us instead was because we're the ones who made the discovery in the first place.
Mayor Zio is also relatively new. He's not the brightest. He's not the brightest either. Humans kind of looks to his left and right. They're also not the most brightest. For all I know, he also could have just been sending you on this errand to get you out of his way. This note here could have very easily have said, because you guys did not read it, that much I know, could have easily have said upon reading this letter, kill those who carry it.
At this, Enoch shrugs and says, could have.
Did
At
it?
the same time, it could also be that he has suspicions that for whatever reason, the goblin zombie incursion that occurred before we left was our fault.
Goblin
Our
zombies? He
fault.
kind of
What?
like leans forward and like looks at you like almost confused and puzzled by this.
Don't think that would have been our fault.
No, but he could have thought it. You people come
Yeah,
into the city, bunch of bunch of goblins that should be dead, are up walking about attacking humans and other civilians. 1 and 1 makes 2.
Well, that brings up another question. What if his messengers were killed in that and he just didn't bother to tell us?
Or
I don't
what
know,
if
I'm
he
just
sent his,
following.
or what if he sent his messengers out here already, and their request was denied, and then subsequently killed, as might happen to us?
What? I somehow doubt that last one.
Just
gonna throw that
thinking
one
out loud. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Either way, I do not believe that my words go unvalidated here. We do not know you. And on top of that, if this sense of a gathering is as important as he makes it out to be, I do not deny his legitimate claim and authority to summon to request a summons. I do not. But how much of your word can we trust? How much of your word can we take at face value? We do not know you. We're strangers
quick.
in these lands.
Too dumb to lie. So
Real quick.
Uh-huh.
I want an insight to see if he's actually believing these words or if he's trying to give us the roundabout.
Okay, go for it.
Natural.
Natural 20.
You read his mind.
He definitely like believes that what is written in the paper is important. He doesn't, however, know how. What he believes is that Zio believes what he has written is important. What he doesn't know is how much he can trust you guys and how important the message is, especially not having a messenger from Zio himself and being people that he doesn't know. He doesn't know how much legitimacy all of this has. But otherwise, he's being very honest with you. He doesn't. There's no ill intent. There's no like hostility. He just simply is very concerned and I guess worried for his people's safety is probably the best way of putting it. Especially that you mentioned a zombie attack essentially on the eve of your guys' visit to the city of Dagbor.
So
I'm going to attempt a persuasion here, and Katya is going to say, you're absolutely right. You have no reason to trust us, and we are new in town. However, the summit is going to be held whether you are present or not, and any decisions that may or may not be made without you present, you might just be forced to have to follow. And we were also told that it is considered an act of war to not heed the words of said letter. Persuasion?
I'm actually gonna say that's more of an intimidation than persuasion.
Intimidation?
Yeah, just because of the way you said that, I'm gonna say that's more of an intimidation.
All right. Well, that's a soft 20.
Soft 20. Okay. Okay. He kind of like looks at you and he goes, "It is a crime and an act of war to open the seal or to have the seal when you are of not a messenger or of the city in which you carry the seal for. So by an all rights, I could justifiably kill you here and now, and then wage war with Dagbor if I so desired. Because you guys are neither messengers of Zio, or at least none that has been made announced to us, as we do not know you. It's because of the words in the letter you currently live. The summit may be held and may take place without me, perhaps. But my concern is both of your guys' legitimacy and your guys' ability to protect what remaining seals you may have. Because if somebody were to take those from you by force or by mishap, or you lose them in a bet, for all I know, those seals can become very powerful for those men who now obtain them, and very dangerous for all of us who don't. My request is simple. I would like to know your guys' worth in terms of protecting those seals. And I would like for the messenger Ada travel from the city of Dagbor. Join you guys on your escapade. He's
At this, Romulus.
Go ahead.
At this, Romulus shrugs and says, "Judging by the Griffin attacks, both the first and second night on our travels, any messenger who doesn't come with proper protection may not make it at all."
So probably a better option than to return to the city of Dagbor, retrieve Ada, and then return. Or at least inform me that you now have Ada.
That's
You said
quite a detour.
that traveling by himself would be dangerous.
But that's a long detour though, and we've only got 2 weeks to reach the other cities.
If it is a concern, since Lord Zio is the one summoning, calling for the summit, perhaps he could rewrite the letter and essentially call for an extension, or edit it so that it is in an extended time. If that is a concern of yours, you could speak to him upon entering the city. I'm both helping you and proving a point. Otto will be a great asset to you in terms of earning the confidence of the other men of the cities. We are a small city. My council is a council of 3, and he kind of gestures to the 2 humans on either side, who have not said an entire word this entire time. Other cities
Right
have
after we finish trash talking humans.
Other cities have councils of hundreds of men. If I am one to doubt you, what makes you think that more than 1 or 2 on their councils would not doubt you and your stories?
That is true.
If they decide that your stories are just illegitimate claims, they could have you tried and beheaded for carrying a seal of a royal city, and that would be the end of the matter.
At this, Deanoch just places his hand on his snout and just kind of pulls down slightly, like that frustrated, and just mutters, "It would be so much easier with comms."
I'm sorry, with what?
With what?
Comms. It's a magical device. Allows instant messages talking between two different distant locations.
He kind of like looks at his hands for a moment and kind of goes, "Oh, Book spoke of that once." And he kind of like turns to one of the humans and smacks him in the chest. You, poof! And he just like smacks it. His entire hand, by the way, like covers this man's chest.
And I feel like that guy would be back in a few feet at that.
Well, he's not like hitting him to like hurt. Like, you know how like you'll like smack your friend,
Even
like
a
get his
pat,
attention.
Even a pat from this guy, I
mean,
feel, would send people, a few feet stumbling.
Well, he is a huntsman, not a. But yeah, he does. The guy kind of goes. He goes, there was a ancient book written long ago about magics that could communicate far distances. What is your knowledge? And the guy kind of one of the ancient texts that we've read, there was a spell years and years and years, and at this point probably too long to keep saying years ago, that allowed for spells to be sent over large distances. I believe there was both a cantrip and a spell. There was a cantrip that would allow for slightly shorter ranges of I want to say between like 120 and 150 feet. And a much more powerful one that could be essentially, if you were on the same plane of existence, it would work. But that spell, due to it's a 2 days ride, even it's like a 2 day ride to the next closest city from here, and maybe a little bit further for another, and with a good somebody with enough ability to do so could even make that journey in probably a day. Most messages are traveled through letter now, so this spell has been largely lost to time, unfortunately. Dinok and Katya, you guys would be. I think you guys are the most learned of the group.
Especially with my professor.
I don't know about Valinar. How learned are?
I mean, one of the cleric spells is sending.
Yeah. Okay. So you're fairly learned.
Katya waves his fingers around in the air in front of him, while looking at Halig, and using the cantrip message, says to him in his mind, "The spell is called Message, and I happen to know quite a bit about it."
Halig kind of like turns and looks at you because as he recognizes your voice, he doesn't really say anything, but the other guy keeps speaking, kind of just the spell's been largely lost to time. And most of you guys know that while the magic, still exists, obviously, as Katya just proved it. Spells like message and sending are very rare, and most people who do know those spells guard them greedily. Katya, you would probably know this best. Nobody in your family knows how to use the sending spell. There's one family that your father is friendly with, that would allow sending to be used. Never sold to you in terms of the spell itself. It's never even been considered. Other than, hey, would you mind selling? No. That's the conversation that happens. When talking about sending. You will know that your father usually ends up paying a lot of money in order to use sending, and he tries to do that as little as possible due to the vast amount of wealth it requires to do so, even just once. So he only does that in states of an emergency. That if he needs to use sending, it's usually only if his his cargo and stuff is at risk for some reason, for one reason or another. And if the message is not sent, or if the message is not will not arrive in time, it will very possibly cost him his entire shipment, essentially.
So only in case of emergency.
Mm-hmm. It is a very rare spell, and he has mentioned using it before, but every time he uses it, it usually sets him back a couple of thousands of gold.
Ooh.
Dinoc, Dinoc, you guys never would have used sending the spell because you guys had technology to do that with.
Mm-hmm. What we did was we mixed the spell, the original. When it was when the comms were made, the spell was mixed with technology, and that's been used ever since. The spell itself has been forgotten almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Valinar.
So whenever one uses a more available and better version, why use the older version?
Yeah. Valinar, you would have heard rumors of the spell, but nothing major would have stood out to you, like to the point where it's kind of like, yeah, we just don't really talk about that because we don't have a need to do so.
Okay.
So above game wise,
I'm going to mind link with Valnar real quick.
Well, hold on, I want to say something above game real quick. So above game wise, the spell sending message is different because it's a cantrip, but the spell message has basically been lost. So for the purposes of like spells and stuff like that, it's actually the only spell that I'm going to end up restricting in terms of being one of the only spells that I'll end up restricting as a spell that can be learned, unless discovered, or in this situation, rediscovered. So lots and lots of research would have to be done in order to recover the spell, for those who would desire to take it later down the road. I know it's a 3rd level spell, so it's later down the road, but just so that you guys are aware.
Oh, you mean sending? You said message. I'm like, what?
No, message.
Right.
Message is a cantrip. That one's a little more understandable because it's simple child.
Yeah, but when you were talking about restricting spells, you said message.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Sending. My bad. Sending. Sending is the spell that I would be restricting in this case.
Okay.
I'm like, can I choose a new cantrip?
No, sending definitely works, and he kind of
Message.
Wow, Wow.
Sounds like we need to end early because our DM can't keep his story straight.
Still thinking about food.
No, my belly is gonna bust. No, sorry about that. So message is fine. Sending is not unless you find it, essentially.
Okay.
And like I said, that's still a ways off. But and again, Cardin, I'm just gonna do something real quick, kind of like, so as the individual kind of finishes speaking, Palad kind of goes, kind of like leans towards you, Katya, and he kind of goes, I know of one other person that can do something like that. He swears it's not the message spell. But tell me, what is it you use? And in that moment, I'm gonna have you connect with Valinar, Cardin.
Cardin, lean forward and speak.
Valnar? Yeah, hey Valnar. Do these people actually need to use a spell to speak telepathically to each other? Over distances?
Right now, Valinar is more confused that the barbarian is speaking to him in his mind. This goes back to the whole surprise when he spoke Corey thing. First thing Valinar says is, wait, you can do that too?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I be able to do
And I'm
this?
assuming this entire conversation is happening in your guys' head.
Oh
just
yeah,
for the
this is all
reference of
happening in our
This
heads.
is all happening in our heads.
Yeah, just for the reference of everybody else around you.
I've actually never met anyone else that can do that without a spell.
Most of the people in my tribe can do it. So
Yeah,
maybe we're of a different bloodline?
I don't know. It's kind of kicked out of my home when I was a kid. So I don't know.
Dang
Why do
it,
you
I
look
need
at
some
the
answers. I need answers.
You're too stupid to come up with them.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll say, okay, bye. And then
click. You get
hang
you
up.
get a dial tone.
it's like the old dial-up, the dial-up dial tone.
yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, I'm actually sending that through my mind link.
Yeah.
All right. So
So you're sending the noise. Eh, eh, eh.
I was just gonna respond to that. And go, you don't have to make that sound, right?
Okay, see ya. Click.
Standing right next-
Oh my lord.
all right. So Katya, what are you telling Palig right now then?
I say out loud, um, I have known this for a while, and apparently it's not as widespread as I thought. I've just had this natural ability to be able to speak to others through the use of magic called message.
And the one guy who had like just spoke kind of goes like, "I'm sorry, what?" Interesting.
Message? Katya did not realize that message was. See,
Well,
he
there
knew
are
sending was. He knew sending was a rare thing, but he did not. He did not realize that message wasn't as widespread either. Like it's more common, but apparently where he's from, message is not widely used.
Well, you would also know that most of the people who use message, from that you are aware of, are either vastly wealthy or actually royalty.
Yeah.
So these people also kind of live like peasants, so you're not really sure how knowledged or learned they are.
Yeah.
So I'll be and the one guy kind of sitting beside Palak kind of goes, "Well, I'll be dang. Who would have thought that we would have had I guess another user of message in our village today." Oh man. Well, you probably definitely would want to speak.
Another?
Yes, the he kind of like almost goes blank faced and just goes, "The hag knows that as well."
Okay.
And you watch as like Palig like jabs him with an elbow. Not a nice way to refer to the shaman of the village. He goes, "I know, but
Is she the one that
Moria."
lives in the hut
You only
down the
have
river?
one shaman?
Huh?
You guys only have one shaman?
Look, the one guy who's been speaking is like, if you can even call her that, and Palig kind of jabs him with an elbow again. Not like trying to cause harm, but like, haha, stop it, kind of a thing. And Palig kind of goes, "Tomoria is the only other individual in the village who can use message other than yourself," and he kind of gestures.
Is she the lady that lives in the hut upstream?
Yes. How did you? Kind of like says, kind of leaning forward a little bit.
We asked around the general shop, looking for
Oh.
magic and magic items.
Yeah, got you. So, yeah, Vola would have referred to her as Miss Ruthway.
Yes.
Her full name is Moria Ruthway.
So I guess because I can use the spell message, that technically I'm a official messenger.
Don't get cute, kid.
Pretty sure that's not how that works.
At this, Denoc just uses his mage hand and puts it over your mouth.
You have.
Is there a way I could dispel that?
Do you have dispel magic?
No.
Sorry.
You could smack it with intent to harm.
Oh. I'm not sure I'll be able to hit it.
Have 1 HP.
Something like that. If you want to attempt to smack it to cause harm, go for it.
To get rid of the mage hand, yes.
All right, roll to hit, unarmed strike. So D20 plus your strength modifier.
D20 plus. Oh. Shoot. Where do I click for this shit?
You can just click strength. It'll be the same thing.
Oh, okay. Does a 15 hit your magic hand?
I'm gonna say yes. And what's your strength modifier?
-1.
Well,
It's true.
well, typically it's 1 plus your strength modifier, but you have a negative strength modifier.
Oh, I see now. So I hit it for
You
no
intend
damage.
Yes, you intend to do damage, but you do no damage.
I will say, just for the sake of it, that you deal 1 point of damage to essentially dispel the mage hand. But it is quite hysterical. It looks like Katya is basically trying to slap himself in the face.
Okay, we're doing this game too, and I go and I just like.
I mean, it's spectral. It's still
Right.
slightly visible. Like, you can see
Guys.
like a shimmer of air in front of his face as he smacks it and it vanishes. It's not
Guys,
invisible,
Are we really doing this in front of the huntsman?
apparently.
No, I thought we were doing it outside and away from the huntsman.
No, you guys are in
Connect
front of
my-
the...
I mind link with the huntsman,
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh
and
no.
I say, sorry for this. Some of these people can be a little idiotic in their usage of abilities. And then I disconnect.
He, like, turns and looks at you, Cardit, and then goes... He's like... The look on his face is pure confusion. Kind of looks and he goes, everyone in your group use message? I mean, even the fucking stupid one over here can use it.
At this, Denoc turns and is like, "What?"
He just spoke to me in my head.
What? Oh, for crying out loud. Pretty sure all of us can do it except for him, except ours isn't a spell.
What? He just, what?
You just do it naturally.
I turn.
He
look
turns as
at
well.
Arden, and I say, I think what I think is low enough to not be heard, but you can all kind of hear it. That would be one hell of a dissection to figure out. And
You could try.
at this
You
point,
could certainly try,
Denoc-
but you won't find anything.
Try.
At this point, Denoc is just looking at you with almost a clinical, like, it's almost like he is
Scalpel.
salivating over the thought of experimenting on you at this point.
Ooh. So like as you turn and like are like drooling over Carden, the Palig turns to his left, the other man, the guy on his left, and just looks at him like a lost puppy. And the guy kind of goes, "Well, judging by the demeanor, he appears human enough. Get a lot of normal human details. I would say he's a soul from another time trapped in a different body." And Palig just goes, "What?" And the other guy, "He's a
At this point,
Kalishtar."
Valinar's gonna take off his lenses and just show his glowing eyes.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Enoch is going to turn and look at you, even worse than before.
Why do you
Well-
think I wear darkened lenses?
yeah. So
I mean, my eyes will probably be glowing at this point too, because I feel like mind blink for Carden is very like
It's gonna be like the
Challenging.
only time you ever.
yeah, it's like concentrating. Like he's
Mhm.
concentrating
I-
really hard.
I also like to imagine that your eyes glow whenever you rage, but that's
hmm
that's me.
That's how I was picturing it too.
But
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Never seen this
So
before.
this is what how it happens. So the guy on his Palig's left goes, he's a soul trapped from another time, trapped in another man's body, and Palig just goes, "What?" And the guy, "He's a Kalishtar, Lord." And he kind of goes, "Huh," and then turns and looks at you. And about this point in time, you take off your shades, Valinar, and you kind of let your eyes glow this bright color. It's white, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember the color they glow.
Don't think
Yellow.
I don't think it specifies. So
If-
honestly,
If so, then I would say glow green. That's what color my character's eyes are.
I wonder if it specifies. I'm gonna just real quick double check, just because I can very quickly pull it up. Thanks to books.
Now I need to know for the purpose of my character, is this anything that Katya is familiar with?
Hell no.
Oh, so there's some weird shit going on here. Okay.
Yes.
I don't even know where I read that.
Mhm.
I think Enoch's done an autopsy on one of those before.
Perhaps.
This is absolutely foreign to me. Gotcha.
Mhm. But that's just because you do a lot of strange autopsies, Dinok.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say, as Palig is looking around the room
No,
in confusion, Katya is trying to figure out what the hell's going on, turns and sees these glowing eyes and is just confused himself.
Mhm. What were you saying, Valinar?
So I was looking at something that might be an older Kalishtar thing about their eyes.
Mhm. Well,
What
I
was
saw.
looking at,
Go ahead.
what I was looking at says that they don't even have pupils.
Oh Lord.
So
They're
I have it
actually
right here.
clear.
So Kalistars have
Okay.
symmetrical, slightly angular features, and their eyes often glow when they are focused or expressing strong emotions. It does not specify what color that they glow, so I'm gonna just go with whatever the character's eye color is.
Okay, mine was like a dark green. Yeah.
Okay. So like you take off the shades and like this kind of a dark green begins to kind of glow from his eye sockets, and Carden's with this bright blue color, I believe, correct?
Yeah, it'll be like a bright blue color, and then I imagine when I'm raging, it probably is red. Like it might change with like just because I'm raging.
Maybe we'll see. We'll describe that later. But Palig is kind of looking at the two of you guys and just like, oh, that's bizarre.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
You two
then
say
how
as
about-
you turn and make eye contact with one another.
It really does look weird whenever you actually see it. I can understand why he told me to wear these all the time. I put my lenses back on.
Hmm. Interesting.
So Denox says, "So you're both Kalistars?"
Oh, what?
Apparently.
Evidently, that's what we're called.
Evidently. I thought I was
What
just
is-
a person.
How does how does this even work? Why? Why do your eyes glow like that?
Valnar
You know-
I don't know.
Peleg kind of like turns back to his left a little bit, and the individual kind of just looks and goes like, "Hostile Lord, I'm curious." Well, you see, part of it is there's not only your soul in your body, but also another, but a soul of your ancestor who has not been able to quite rest peacefully. That soul is also in your body and primarily located in the eyes, so in which they can observe the world and potentially find peace with whatever they feel may have been left unaccomplished.
Interesting. That almost sounds. Never mind. That's a story for another day.
And Peleg just kind of goes, "Huh. Well, yeah, so I'll ask you this. Since you are already here in town, would you like to prove to me your fighting paralysis before you leave to fetch Ada, or would you rather do it when you return?"
Which would be easier?
I'll do it. I'm all up for doing it before. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am.
In terms of when would be easier, neither. Challenge will be the same regardless of when you do it.
If we have to do it at some point, I vote do it sooner rather than later.
Well, what
Enoch
what
nods.
time? What time is it currently? Give or take.
You guys have been in here for a couple of hours now, so it's probably getting close to like dinner time at this.
Yeah, we should go ahead and do it sooner. That way we can pay the shaman a visit when it's light out instead of dark.
Okay.
A
I will.
wise idea.
I will send men for you when it is time. Then.
Ooh, men, you say?
Yes. Why would it not be men? I don't ask the women here to fight. They've already done their service.
I'm just making an observation.
I will tell you right now that when fighting, I will tell you that it needs to be essentially non-lethal. Yes, pain is expected, but I do not want any bloodshed amongst you or my men.
Cudgel rings. Yes.
Valnar
I'm just really.
stares at Carden.
Hmm?
I will have to.
Valnar just stares at Carden.
I might have to play careful with my magic. I wouldn't wish to utterly destroy your men.
And there is, non-lethal damage that as long as you declare that whatever you're doing is non-lethal, as long as I can.
I don't wish to fry him. I just want to stun him.
As long as I can logically make sense of what it is you are wanting to do, I will allow for it to be non-lethal. Like, if for example, if Carden says, "I want to take my greatsword and just aim for the head," and he ends up, downing that individual, I'm sorry, a great sword to the head is not exactly non-lethal.
Yeah.
Burning
why
his head into the flat of the blade.
That's why I picked up the
Mhm.
quarterstaff.
I mean, it's not necessarily non-lethal. It can be, but I would ask him how he would do it, probably. So just bear that in mind for the next time.
So with
So
my
question,
elemental
no
spells,
burning hand.
no firebolt.
No fire. Got it.
Shit. I have lightning and I have
Is-
fire.
Is
You have
radiant
chromatic
considered
orb, which you
lethal?
can choose. You can just choose, can't you? You roll for chromatic orb.
No, I choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, thunder. I suppose thunder could like just knock
Thunder.
them out.
Thunder is also considered force.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
that could be non-lethal-ish.
Mhm.
Question then.
Roll a
Is
nat
radiant-
20.
Is radiant considered lethal or non-lethal?
Is he
radiant
undead?
radiant damage. Yeah, as long as it's not against undead, I would allow for it to be considered non-lethal. As long as you're
Okay.
declaring that you're doing non-lethal damage.
Okay. Cool.
So since so as long as I don't go for like the downing blow, I can still use firebolt.
Yeah. Because Firebolt, I think Firebolt specifically says that it cannot catch an individual on fire.
A flammable object hit by this spell ignites if it isn't being worn
Yeah.
worn or carried.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, if you shoot somebody with Firebolt, you're not going to catch them on fire to continuously do damage. So
I'm testing something. Hang on.
yeah.
Don't mind me.
You're testing your
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to see what kind of damage I might get out of this. Okay. Curiosity sated.
For the time being, then you guys are essentially free to leave and wander about the village as you see fit. Palig says he would send men after you, for you when it is time for the display of strength, essentially. What would you guys like to do for the evening then, as it is getting close to dinner? You guys aren't quite hungry yet after having that massive lunch, but you
Might
can
nibble
definitely
on some
tell.
leftovers.
But you can definitely tell that it is evening, and it is getting close to like supper time, and thereafter bed.
It is bedtime.
as
Well-
we leave, I ask someone on my way out,
Mhm.
like a guard or
Actually,
just I ask if there is a inn in town
Okay.
and directions to it.
You are informed that there is no inn, but if they sleep even in just the nearby surrounding wood, if you sleep basically anywhere in the town or in the nearby surrounding wood, it is fairly safe in this area, as well as they tend to have some men on watch during the night, specifically men that typically have some form of dark vision.
Probably just like pitch our camp in like the middle of the town square.
So you want to like curl up next to the bear roast and just fall asleep?
That's a
Oh,
good place to pitch a tent.
Oh yeah.
no fire.
Okay. So you guys kind of just make your way
Reasonable
towards.
distance.
Mhm.
I don't. I ask if there's a place that I can set up my camp
Mhm.
without disturbing people.
Okay. They basically just tell you like edge of town, down by the river, pretty much anywhere that there's a large enough space for you, or for you guys, depending on what you guys decide to do. I will say, as you pass through the center of town, you do actually see a lot of people like lining up, and everybody getting pieces, like slabs of this bear as it is being cut, right off of essentially the skewer, and put on plates of these individuals, and everybody is like eating and drinking kind of outside. Valinar, give me a perception check, Valinar, because I think you would be the one to notice this more so than the others.
Perception. Come on. There we go.
Natural
Actually,
20.
I rolled twice. Sorry.
Yeah, it'll do that whenever you click it twice. So, but a natural 20 for a total of 25. Excellent. You actually see a lot of people praying, as like before they eat their meal. You see a lot of people praying to the god of these three specifically. Excuse me. You see them praying to the god of On, gosh dang it, patience. So you see them praying to the god of the god On, the goddess Vita, and the god Morton. You see those three specifically, and sometimes in the same sentence almost.
So nature, life, and death.
Mm-hmm. You hear a lot of praise and thanks to On, and to Mortem as the death of the bear, and the prevalence of nature as giving them sustenance and strength to honor the god of life, Vita, with using their life as a source of dedication. Which you find both both strange and fascinating at the same time. They're not worshiping one god specifically, but multiple gods in a conjunction of patterns, which is very strange considering a lot of gods really don't get along with one another, or at least so says scripture. But the way that they're doing it, they're appeasing at least these three prime gods within their midst. And nothing that they say is like going to upset one of the other gods, which is strange and fascinating in its own regard. Just because of that like delicate line. Like, it's difficult with just two gods, but the fact that they're doing it with three, it's like they are literally walking on like a tightrope, and it is fascinating to kind of hear how they say their wording. But a lot of it again is, thanks On for growing this bear fat. Thank you, Mortem, for allowing him to be to take care of him in his death, essentially, guide him to the spirit world kind of a thing. And then Vita, thank you for allow this to give us energy to live life and serve you, essentially. It's a very weird trinity in a sense.
Okay.
But strangely it works. At least in the way that they are saying it. Again.
Valinar's just confused now. What? This shouldn't work. Why is this working?
So, well, where would you guys, I guess, like to set up your campsite for the evening?
Down by that river creek he suggested.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Down by like the river creek that he suggested. That way we can also refill like our water skins and such.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So you guys head down towards the river. You guys
Isn't
begin
there
to
a song like that?
yes,
Down by the river bend.
yeah, absolutely. You guys head down, and you guys set up camp for the evening. Um, at which point, Katya, you kind of remember, the hag, as they were called in the meeting, but kind of realize that it's probably a little late in the evening to go and visit somebody for shopping. So you make a note of it for the next morning. And unless there's anything else anybody else would like to do, I'm going to say that you guys begin to turn in for an evening's rest.
Cardinal will probably be like push-ups and crap before he goes to bed because
Nobody wants to talk to the two, now that you know them, Kalish stars. Now that you know what they are.
Well,
We know what we are.
Dinoch is thinking because he's never dealt with a live one before.
Okay.
He's only dissected them.
Fair enough.
Or done autopsies, excuse me.
And just, for your reference there, Dinoch, most autopsies on a Kalishtar versus a human are very minute differences. And they're variable differences that you would find in pretty much any human, like from human to human autopsy, essentially. Those kinds of differences, they're basically the same kind of margin of error between a Kalishtar and a human. So what the individual had said in the meeting seems to track. It seems to be that there is for the most part, their body just houses an additional soul in addition to their own.
Question. Would it, like, say the additional soul is that of a half-orc, but the body that I autopsy is more human than orc? Would there be any regression to the orc origin ancestry compared to like the very recent like parent or grandparent of the body?
I mean, for the most part, a lot of Kalishstars, that additional soul attempt to essentially inhabit a body that is much like what theirs were in their life. So human for human, orc for orc, etc., etc. But there have been cases where something like that would occur. And a lot of times it's not necessarily observable in autopsy, but in the way that they live. A lot of times whenever like a creature who had, say, orc blood in them and the orc soul came back and was inhabiting a half orc body who was more on the human side, sometimes they would have seen a lot more aggression in their life as a Kalishtar rather than what they would have as a regular half orc due to that extra essentially orc in them. So it wouldn't necessarily be noticeable in autopsy, but more so in life, like I said.
In details about the person.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Anything else there then?
Valinar's basically just gonna go to bed wondering what the other soul that's living in him is.
Fair enough.
I mean, Carbon honestly probably the same thing, because at this point he probably had no clue.
Yeah. I get that, but part of that too is also because I'm kind of doing, like, it's similar lore to the official stuff, but it's slightly different, and I think it makes it a little bit more fun and it makes it a little bit more sense. I'm slightly what?
Ad-libbing.
Oh, where I'm adding stuff to it? Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
So Well, like I said, Denox's just going to be thinking of questions for his Kalishtar companions.
Okay. Then, with that, I'm going to say that you guys begin a long rest, and we will end tonight. Oh, sorry.
I take first watch.
Okay. You
Because
guys-
we're not
Alright.
in the town.
Okay. You guys set up a watch. Real quick then. Oh, excuse me. I have been burping a lot last part of the session. Let me go ahead and write down the night watch order. So,
Do you also want to roll for me?
no, I'll actually have everybody roll next time.
Okay.
So we have Denock taking first watch. Who would
I call
want to take?
third.
Katya taking third. So who wants second?
I don't know if you guys want me doing it again.
You can go last. That way you
Alright.
get all your sleep out of the way.
Okay. So that means we have Denock, Cardin, Katya, Valinar. Okay. Alrighty then. I will have everybody roll that next time, just because I will want that for the next session when we have more time. As I think this would be a great place to end for the night.
Dun dun dun.
So, thank you guys so much for coming by and checking out this stream. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. I know we had a freaking blast.
All that food.
Ooh.
Food.
Yeah, you guys are gonna make me.
Food.
I'm gonna end up having to do research on food now, aren't I?
Food?
Nah,
Oh no, I don't think I want to get craving for ham in every session.
Well, that's why he
depending-
has to do research on other foods.
Well, let's
Exactly.
put it this way: if you go to the tavern tomorrow, their special is gonna be bear.
Oh. Fantastic. Day old bear.
Hey, that ham was a day old,
True.
and it was damn good.
I'm not sure Katya would be a big fan of the bear after having held its severed head for even a second.
But that's the part of the bear he gets.
Oh, fantastic! They plop that down on a plate right in front of him. Oh.
Oh man!
I mean, there's brain, there's tongue, there's cheek, there's eye.
I'm just gonna go eat from the trough outside.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out this stream. If you've missed any of our other sessions, you can find them here or over on the Big Ripper YouTube channel. Also, they are live before Wednesday over on Podbean, which you can find them at under the Mundus campaign. That's MUNDUS campaign. This is episode.
You may want to write that in chat real quick.
Well, when the stream ends, the chat will go away, so they won't have it.
Yes, but
Ooh.
if they
rewatch it, yeah, you're correct. So,
Yeah.
actually, you know what?
Mundus.
Give me just half a second, and I'll find a link.
there you go. The link will be in the chat.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna throw a link in the chat, and you guys can go watch it, on your own time, or listen to it on your own time. And this will be in the this will be over on Podbean, which is free to listen to. Everything's currently there. We have our last 4 sessions up now. And I will say, just for everybody for later, The source of the Podbean stuff may be changing lately. Oh yeah, because it's under that. Forgot about that. But it is now in chat. The source of that might be changing later. I'll let you guys know when that happens. And I'll let you know by Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at Big Ripper, and where you'll get all of the latest updates and me posting about random Dungeons and Dragons, as well as some other hysterical stuff. I try anyway. Sometimes I forget. I do try. But in the meantime,
this is going up on YouTube as well, right?
Yes, it'll be up on YouTube Monday. So check it out.
So you may want to put the link in the description of that video.
Fun fact: there is actually a link to the YouTube channel and my Twitter in the about section, I believe, on Twitter or on Twitch here. So if you scroll down underneath the video, you will actually find a link to my YouTube and Twitch, or sorry, YouTube and Twitter. So there is a link.
You'd already have the Twitch link. Here,
YouTube and Twitter is in the, if you scroll down, you'll find it there. I believe they did they redid the interface of Twitch recently, so I have yet to learn everything again. So bear with me. I'm sorry. I just learned everything and then they changed it all up on me. So, but with that, you can catch us here. When I say us, I mean me, Romulus, and Blind here on this channel at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time now, PM obviously. Playing Borderlands 2. We're gonna finish that up here in the next few weeks probably. That's every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday at the moment. And then Fridays, obviously, we have Dungeons and Dragons. And then Tuesdays, I typically do a playthrough of The Witcher. I'm never played, so I make a lot of mistakes and I'm terrible at the game, so that's fun. And then
on Thursdays,
Romulus also has a thing, so I'm gonna have him real quick plug himself. So Romulus, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
Just look for my name here on Twitch, Romulus. For right now, I'm doing Dark Souls 3 Cinders mod every Thursday at 9 p.m. and every other Saturday at 9 p.m. I'll be doing it tomorrow night. So it'll be tomorrow night. I'll stream again next Thursday. But then I'll have a whole week until my next stream.
All right. And with that, guys, I do not have any other announcements, so I think that's about it for us. So you guys have a great night. Enjoy the weekend and the extended weekend if you have it with the holiday in mind. And we'll catch you guys all on the next one. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.